Hello, everybody. Welcome to the witching hour. If you look at the widget, it is indeed the witching hour. And we do this during the witching hour because that's when supernatural things tend to happen. And you may have noticed in some of my videos, I am undead. I'm just half alive at the witching hour. I also recommend it is a live feed, so putting it to that 1.25 speed or 1.5 speed is highly recommended. But today I wanted to talk about creating gold pieces for Daggerheart. Now, why am I bringing this up? Well, let's take a quick look at some of the gold piece systems and some of our more famous RPG systems out there right now. And what you'll see is that Daggerheart has no gold system, no purchasing system really, or I should say they broke it down to a very simple system. So what we're looking at here is just the D&D, Daggerheart, Shadow Dark, and Pathfinder, and you can see looking at the various cost of items. In this case, we're going to look at armor. So you can see, D&D has all the gold piece values. Shadow Dark, you can see there's handfuls. And actually, let me move this a little bit here so you can see it better. I'll put it back because this is going to become more relevant once I try to do a little calculation. So you can see that in Daggerheart, there's one handful, one bag, and at the very bottom, the other value is a chest. Okay, so they have no real gold piece system to calculate how much things actually cost. It's one handful, two handfuls. And I get this, they don't want purchasing treasure to be an important part of the game. You guys may have heard of Tiberius, I believe, many moons ago. Kind of held up the group by trying to go on a shopping spree, essentially. So I'm not sure if that's where this is originated from, or this is how this originated. But I actually think it's kind of funny if it is. Quick elixir. And if we look at Shadow Dark, you can see they have actual GP costs for everything. If you look at Pathfinder, interestingly enough, they have even much more, what would appear to be a much more simplified GP system. Now, I wanted to focus on chainmail, right? Because if we look at plate armor in D&D, it's 1500. Plate armor in Daggerheart, it's a tier 1 item. So if you look down here, so you can see tier 1 plate here, go down to tier 1 equipment weapons, it says 1 to 5 handfuls. We can only assume that it is the most expensive item in the armor, so it's probably going to be 5 handfuls. If we look at Shadow Dark, plate mail is 130 gold pieces. And if we look at Pathfinder, 30 gold pieces. Okay, so these don't all exactly translate, but if we focus on chainmail, you can see it's 75 gold in D&D. Again, it's third tier, arguably maybe 4 handfuls. And then if you look at Shadow Dark, it's going to be 60 gold pieces. And if you look at Pathfinder, there's 6 gold pieces. So there's almost a correlation between Shadow Dark and Pathfinder. And the price range in Shadow Dark to Dungeons and Dragons for chainmail is roughly within the same range. So based on that, I'm going to do a quick calculation and try to create some gold piece system for Daggerheart in case you're interested in using that in your future games, or at least giving some type of rough estimates when you start assigning various type of equipment in Daggerheart. So, of course, always lags. Here we go. So again, I pointed out to chainmail, the different prices. I'm going to assume that chainmail for Daggerheart is at the 4 handful of coins, similar to 60 GP and the 6 GP from Pathfinder. Now, based on some calculations that I've done, we can assume, I think, we can just make some assumptions. Again, these are all educated guesstimates. We can see that if 60 gold pieces for chainmail in Shadow Dark, if it costs 60 gold pieces and it's only 6 gold pieces in Pathfinder, it is possible that a Shadow Dark gold coin is actually a tenth of an ounce, right? And where in Pathfinder, when you think about it, it's kind of cool. They have like one of those John Wick full ounce coins when they do their transactions in Pathfinder. So I find that pretty cool. So based on this and making some rough calculations based on the gold cost for chainmail, I just assumed that, and also to try to kind of round out the numbers and not create some weird, weird numbers, try to keep the numbers very even, or have those last digits being zeros. You can see here that I decided to make one handful, about 20 gold pieces for Daggerheart. Okay, so now if we do that and we say that the chainmail is about 4 handful, right? Because this is the fourth most expensive, well, the most expensive for tier 1 item, as we mentioned earlier, is 5 handfuls. We're going to assume that's plate armor, so then that would mean chainmail is 4 handfuls. And that would mean that our chainmail in Daggerheart is about 80 gold pieces, right? So it's 4 times 20, 80 gold pieces. And you know what? That's a little more expensive than D&D, more expensive than chainmail. But I would say it's within the ballpark, right? These numbers are often different enough that I think 5 more gold pieces compared to D&D is not a big deal. And now based on that, we can assume that 10 handfuls, we're going to just kind of create this. We're going to say that 10 handfuls, and because those coins, those standard coins in Dungeons and Dragons, Daggerheart and Shadow Dark are likely 1 10-ounce coins, we're going to say that 10 handfuls is equal to 1 bag, which is going to equal 200 gold pieces, right? So that's pretty easy, right? 1 hand equals 20 GP, 20 times 10 is 200. And to kind of just create, again, just another system and try to make it even, we're going to say that 1 bag is 200 gold pieces, and we're just going to throw, I was going to do 10 bags, and I guess you could do that to say what a gold, how much gold is in a chest, so I leave that up to you, but I'm just going to say, I'm going to double it and say, no, because it has to be pretty expensive, right, for tier 4 equipment in Daggerheart. So we're going to leave it like this. We're going to say 10 hands equals 1 bag equals 200 gold pieces. And we're going to say 20 bags equals 1 chest equals 4,000 gold pieces. Okay, so that's pretty much it. This is I think, a good way of looking at how things are valued in Daggerheart. Next time you want to actually create a coin system to your game, you can start here. I think what I could do in the future is maybe create a list of the items that are in Daggerheart and just apply gold piece values to it. And given the fact that everything's 1 to 2 bags or 5 to 10 bags, I can just assign gold piece numbers to those in that equipment list. So maybe that's something I'll do a little bit later for a Witching Hour, or I'll just upload it to RPG Boons tab in the Don Franco 3 Games website. And that is all I got today. I did not hear or see anything weird at the Witching Hour today. I don't know if you did behind me or not. I'm Don Franco 3. This is RPG Boons, recorded at the Witching Hour. This is the Witching Hour. I am undead. See you next time.